as you can see from the title, then, this is all going to be around building and monetizing your personal brand this year. So it's a different kind of presentation to what I've done in the past. And with it, if you again have any questions as we go through, feel free to ask them, but I may pretty much hold them all until the end unless they are completely relevant. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get rid of my Q&A box there so I can see all of you. Fantastic. And then let's get cracking. So the information that I'm going to be sharing with you today has come from so many different conversations that I've had over the last couple of years. Now, as a team, we are a small team at Pipeline 44 in the social selling suite, but we have Zoom conversations with our clients. Some of you are on watching today. We have conversations with people every single day, learning more about their businesses, helping them with strategy, helping them practically and proactively, should I say, implement some of the stuff that we do day to day to deliver results for our own companies as well. But what I'm finding time and time again, and these reasons don't tend to change too much, although there is a couple of reasons that have changed and been brought to light over the last probably 6 weeks or so. But there's some common reasons why consultants and service-based businesses fail when it comes to social media. And before I reveal them, can I just get a bit of an understanding from you all as well? Out of you that are on here today, how many, who is currently using social media to drive their business forward? Just give me a thumbs up or a yes in the chat if you are currently using social to try and generate some business. So quite a few of you, brilliant stuff. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch up and open the chat box to everyone just for a minute so you can all, you can say yes to each other. You should be able to see the option to change your chat from host and panelists to also to chat with everyone. So again, if you feel free to share kind of like the answers to everybody as well, so you can all see everyone. There you go. You can start to see Stuart's led the way with it. Amazing stuff. Cool. I will open and close the chat box depending on how busy it gets because it can be quite distracting at times, but this is all open for now. Feel free to go at it. So with that being said, the 5 reasons why people fail. What I want you to do as I bring these up is have a think about whether any of these are relevant to you, right? Typically there's one, sometimes two, sometimes all of them. The first key reason why people fail is that the message that you're trying to communicate, right? The stuff that you're putting out there, the content that you're sharing isn't relevant to the target market that you're sharing to. So maybe your audience isn't directly interested in what it is that you're talking about now. Maybe you've built an audience through your previous career and now you've moved into something different. The audience isn't quite relevant. And therefore, you struggle to build the credibility online that you need to start making a difference, to start being heard. I see that so often. The second is that you might be sharing content. This is so common right now, but you're not able to get or cut through all of the noise that's out there. Your engagement's low. It's not moving forward. It's not progressing. And you kind of feel like content is a bit of a waste of time. You know you should be doing it, but the results just don't really match up to the time that you're having to put in. That's something that's really common. Number 3 is that they just can't build a big enough audience. Like not enough people know what it is that you do and how good you are at doing it. You feel that you can convert. If someone's interested in what you've got to say, you can convert them. But actually, there's not enough people at the front end to be able to actually meet the objectives that you're setting for your businesses right now. So that's, again, really common. Number 4, though, is the one which I spend lots of time talking about in this training today. It's the one that most people miss, but it's the one that makes the biggest difference to us. And that is the fact that lots of people don't have a predictable and sustainable process that leads to prospects and then sales coming into your company from your social media activity. Number 4 is the biggest and most sexiest one for me, even though you might find it a little bit boring. Number 5 then links really nicely into it all. It's that you know that social media can play a big part. However, your strategy is based on throwing loads of spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. Hopefully, eventually, if you remain consistent over time, eventually it will happen. Let me know if you've ever heard that advice, by the way, that, do you know what? You just got to remain consistent. Keep posting, keep showing up. Eventually it will happen. Give me a yes or a thumbs up if you've seen or heard that advice before. Something which really frustrated me right at the beginning because consistency works both ways. If you do it well, yes, consistency will help. If you're doing things badly, why would being consistent do anything apart from keep you being bad? makes absolutely no sense whatsoever logically. And so I always like to challenge this advice because lots of people when they're in this space, they repeat what other people say, but they've not actually practiced it. They've not put it into action. And I'm like, well, if you can't back up what it is that you're saying, why should I believe it? And so everything that I'm going to share with you today will be backed up and supported by evidence and data that showcases why it works. And that's the biggest difference that I believe we do at the Social Selling Suite is that we're only going to share stuff with you that we do or our clients have done to generate results. Now, with that being said, normally there's one of those five things that kind of hits home more to you at this specific point in time. So, what I'd love is out of one, two, three, four, or five, would you mind sharing which one most resonates with you at this current point in time? Normally we see an influx of like threes and fours on average. It tends to be the way that it works. So again, we can see lots of fours coming through. Okay, cool. Now, the good news is that I'm going to be talking to you about all five of these today. Okay, so I'm not going to leave any of them out. They're all going to be covered. And so with that, there's lots of opportunity to learn new things and actually start making a big difference when it comes to this stuff. So lots of variety. We've got Rachel at 4, Abby at 2, we've got Ida at 3. Okay, great. Good stuff. Thank you so much for the engagement, everybody. It really helps this stuff kind of move forward. So they're the 5 key reasons. Now, I've broken today's session into 3 parts. Our framework is what we teach is based around these 3 things. There's 6 in total, but the information within all 3 of them is slightly different. So clarity is something that we're going to begin with first. And I always like to make this bit clear right at the beginning. I don't spend much time talking about me in this presentation unless I'm trying to support some of the information that I'm trying to share with you. So that's a little bit about me. I've mentioned about the fact that I'm only going to be sharing stuff that is evidence-based and data-backed, right? But we've worked with over 1,000 different businesses over the last 4 years, helping them achieve exactly what I've done in business, which is building a personal brand and then monetizing it. And on my LinkedIn profile there, so if you're watching on a laptop right now and you open up the camera on your phone and hover over that QR code, that will take you to my LinkedIn profile. What I'd love for you to do is come and connect with me purely because I only have a small audience, right? I mean, it's bigger than lots of people's, but I only have a small audience on LinkedIn. It's 19,000 people. But actually, I only see maybe 100 to 200 people's content every time that I log on each week. What I want to do is try and build a big community when it comes to the stuff that we're doing to try and make a big difference with the information that we're sharing. So what I'd love is for you to come and connect with me, drop me a message to let me know that you're here. And with that, I will then support you on your journey as well with engagement and supporting you. So come and connect with me if we're not already connected. And then from there, drop me a message. Let me know if you've got any questions. And then let's support each other as we move forward as well. I'd be absolutely really grateful if you could do that. So to begin with, why should you be focusing in on building your personal brand? We've all got one, right? We've all got a personal brand. We've all got a reputation. We've all got an identity. Now, it's really important that we answer this question so you understand the power of it. Now, my journey has come off the back of just making the decision when I had my first business, which was a property business, to document my journey. So you can see the top left image. Can everyone see? I don't see who the person on the front row is in the glasses. That's me forcing myself outside of my comfort zone. Can everyone see that at a networking event? Now, that was taken by a photographer at the time, and I thought, you know what? I remember watching some YouTube videos very early on about documenting your journey, right, and getting out there. Now, I had no idea what I was doing right then at all. I was 23, just starting out, no business, nothing in place. And I thought, you know what? Let's just commit to just show up and see what happens. So I was visible on Instagram, visible a little bit on Facebook, a little bit on LinkedIn, but Instagram was a place that I did it. And every house that we acquired, we were running 70 odd properties across the country over a year and a half. I documented it all. And with that, credibility came. So I wasn't just sharing boring information. I was sharing my journey and my story, which is something that I'm going to be talking to you about inside of this presentation. But building that personal brand up, building an audience for myself that grew to over 150,000 across the different platforms over the last 4 and a bit years. People have bigger audiences, right? But what I've noticed is the bigger my audience has got, the easier it has been to be able to change and do different things. So as I built the property business up, people used to ask me how to build personal brands and how to use social media. The bottom row there is then me speaking publicly. right? I never thought I'd be doing this. I never thought I'd be speaking on stages like that, doing webinars like this. I've kind of fallen into it. And so with that, I've again documented that journey as well. But what that has done, every single post that I've done, because I've shared it in the right way, it's positioned me. More people know who I am, more opportunity comes my way. When you do it and you do it correctly, the opportunities are literally endless. And Rachel, I know you're on here today. I was talking to you in LinkedIn just before this, right? About trying to get yourself out there a little bit more. That's like one of the first biggest initial steps that I know is so difficult for lots of people. And in today's training, I'm going to be sharing something for the first time that I never thought I'd ever share live publicly on a webinar. And I'm going to tell you what that is very, very shortly. But it's one of the most embarrassing things I think I'm ever going to share. So let's see how it goes. But documenting your journey, building your personal brand makes things easier. That is it. And I've mentioned that a little bit earlier on at the beginning, right? Like when you start to build an audience that are interested in what you've got to say, it just makes selling your products and services quite simple. I never find myself having to convince and persuade people to come and work with us. They kind of either want to or they don't. And I was speaking to Nick. It was only a couple of days ago, I think. I don't know if Nick's on in the chat box at all. But I was speaking to Nick only, what, 2 days ago? It might have even been yesterday. And Nick, for those of you that don't know, his profile's on the right-hand side there. He's got 22,000 followers, as you can see. He is there, amazing. Nick is one of my business partners. And I think these were your words, Nick, weren't they? I think I've taken them from the WhatsApp message. Previously dominated an industry globally. Now, what he doesn't then go on to say publicly is that he built and sold that business for multiple millions. Now, I'm not going to disclose the figure, but he's been very, very successful. In his words, when I asked him about the online world, right, after being someone that everybody respected in an industry globally, very, very specific niched industry, in the online world, because he'd never really touched it, he'd only started doing it properly a couple of years ago. The words were, I've gone from being someone that everybody looked up to suddenly being a nobody. Now, I know there'll be lots of you on here, and I'm actually really interested to understand this actually. I speak to people that have been in corporate jobs for a number of years, right? And they are very well respected. They have been the go-to person for that company for a very long time. Everybody wanted information from them. And what happened over the last few years, they've just decided they wanted to go out on their own because rather than being the person that reported to someone else and not really getting the respect that they deserve, they wanted, you know what, build something for themselves. But when they started building something for themselves, suddenly they weren't getting any attention. The respect that they once had, like they realize they've got to start from zero again. And they feel like they're fighting for like people that previously were begging for their attention, fighting for it now and struggling to get it. I don't know if there's any of you on here right now that have been in that position, but I know that sometimes it can be really, really like infuriating when like you've been that person and you know you're really good at what you do. Like you've done it for 10, 15, 20 years. And then you come to this social media world and you're like, there's these people that have been on doing this for 2 minutes, getting hundreds of reactions, hundreds of comments. And like, I know twice as much as they do. I've only been on this planet for twice as long as they have, but I can't get any engagement whatsoever. Does anyone relate to that? Or is that literally just me like guessing and it's like just assuming it? Because for me, it drives me absolutely nuts. Like I speak to really credible people that have previously got that much of attention, they no longer get it. And that's why I create this training for like the same reasons that Nick mentioned to me in that WhatsApp message. It's people that have gone from being a real big somebody that have just wanted something for themselves and now a nobody and don't know how to get that attention, right? People make this social game sound easy. My job is not to make this sound easy because I know how many hours it's taken me to get this right. And people will give you this kind of like get rich quick, kind of this message that, do you know what, you just got to post some content and just show who you are and post personal content, do this, do that, and it will happen for you. That's not true. They're setting you up to fail. And it's not their fault. They just don't know any better. They're just teaching something that they've learned. And sometimes I can sound like a bit like a moron saying that, but I'm telling you the truth. The stuff that I've had to do to get this stuff moving has taken me hours to get right. And I'm going to show you and prove it to you in this webinar, like how long it has taken me and how much practice it's taken to reverse engineer what you need to do to start getting the traction. Now, this was the beginning of Nick's journey. This was the sort of content that Nick really started to post, like these graphic type pieces. Some of you may relate to this, posting graphics on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook and kind of hoping for it. Well, we saw the engagement that Nick was getting, as you can see there, 20 reactions, 4 comments, wasn't really doing very much. We switched it up. We got Nick building up his network properly, targeting it properly. And we moved Nick to a point where he's got here 144 reactions, 56 comments, actually showcasing stuff that he's passionate about. That was a starting point, bit of growth there. And again, we just keep adapting. We look at the content, we go, right, what's working, what isn't? We then did a bit more. So you can see here, this was committing, posting 3 times a week. Really, we should be doing it every day, sharing a message, getting out there, right? It's not that hard when you have a plan together. 211 reactions, 86 comments. You can see the hooks and the headlines that we're starting to use now to grab people's attention. Bang, again, you can see here, 347 reactions, 196 comments. Bearing in mind, can you see, if I go back to the first picture, you can see here, 5 months ago was at the top. Can everyone see the 5 MO 5 months ago? You can see the change from 20 reactions to 4 months. That's a different amount of good content makes. You go from 20 reactions to 144 reactions. That is the difference. You can start getting traction on this platform very, very quickly when you start playing the game properly. Nick's played the game properly. And with that, you can see his audience back in May 2022. It was 4,755. Now we're at 22,864. Building an audience is possible for everyone when you understand how to play the game. And therefore, if you're not seeing traction right now, you just need to change what it is that you're doing. That's it. And I'm going to share with you what those changes are as we move forward. I'm going to share with you examples like Nick as well. So let's move into the first part of today's training, which is on clarity. So this is actually all the stuff that you need to get right before you even really start using LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook properly. You need to get the right message. You need to understand how to stay relevant, and you need to understand how to position yourself properly. If you can't do that and get those things clear, you're going to be wasting your time online. And that's why so many do feel like they're getting no results. It's because these things aren't right. The first thing is your identity. I'm going to break that down for you in a second. Then it's your targeting, so it's your audience. And then it's your offer. Remember, everything that I'm talking to you about today is about making more money. It's revenue generation. I'm not on about just generating some leads and having some conversations. No, this is about directly transitioning the time that you're spending on social to making more money. And I'm going to be sharing with you things that you need to consider and change to start having that desired effect. Now, with your identity, it's critical that if you wanting to grow on social, you need to get clear on 4 key things. Number one is your backstory, your origin story. And those questions, this is what I want you to do. I want you to get a bit of paper out, or if you're making notes on your computer, I want you to write these questions down. And I want you to spend some time just thinking about them and then giving us the answers in your own time when you're ready. But backstory and origin, who are you? Why did you start your business? What is your backstory? What is your experience? Your backstory is what makes you relevant. If you don't have any experience in a sector, you need to find something to be able to then develop and push yourself forward. Your backstory, we've all got a story. We've all come from somewhere. We all also have a reason why we started the business. Now, if you don't know what that is, you need to spend time thinking about it. Because when it comes to starting a service-based business or a consulting-based business, you've got to have a backstory, an understanding of where you've come from, but also a mission. You've got to have a reason why you're doing all of this, because you know what? It is going to get tough, and you've got to be able to really grab onto something to be able to showcase to people why they should work with you over everyone else that's doing the same thing. The question there, right? What value can you add to people? When it comes to my mission, my thing is about being very, very blunt, very, very straight to the point, telling people the truth, even when they may not want to hear it, and actually trying to make a difference. There are so many marketing people out there that haven't done any marketing to generate any real results for themselves. So many social media people that are doing the same thing. My job is to go, you know what? Let's strip everything back and just share what works. Because so many people have got all of these smoke and mirrors up. That's why I do it. People have been conned out of tens of thousands of pounds. I'm not going to mention the lady's name, but she messaged me earlier on and she joined a mastermind, and that mastermind no longer exists. They promised her the world no longer exists. That is not just happened to that one person. I have heard that story 10, 50, 100, 200 times. Now, I guarantee there are people out there right now that have spent money on training. That training has let them down because it's been piss poor and they're annoyed at it, right? My job, the reason why we started this, me, Nick, Sam, and the team, we started this was we wanted to make high level education in this sector available to everyone. And then when they put it into place, you see the results it generates. That's our mission. That's our vision, right? We want to change this industry. And the way that we're going to do it is by sharing everything that works on workshops like this. This is how we work it through. And then the fourth bit then is your values. Okay, what is it that you stand for? What are your principles? I'm loving the chat that's going on right now, by the way. This is absolutely fantastic to read. Heather, I built my business on a breakdown to survive. Breakdown to survive isn't enough. To thrive is the best outcome. With 20 plus year experience and a person that doesn't traditionally fit with my industry. Absolutely love it. Amazing stuff. This is great. These four questions are your starting point. Your identity, backstory, mission, vision, and values. I know this is basic, but it is so important to actually get an understanding of this and then start sharing it. When you then start sharing it, you can then build your audience properly. So you can see on the right-hand side there, 17th of January, my connection total was 12,000. I sat there and I thought, you know what? What do I need to do to start growing this quicker? And more importantly, what do I need to do to start growing this so my revenue line also grows quicker? The first question is do you actually know who you want to follow you? Okay, do you know their job title? Do you know where they're located? Do you know who they work for? What size is the company? All the details around your ideal target market. The second key question is do you know where they spend their time? So what forums are they in? What social media platforms do they use? What videos do they watch? What series are they interested in? What events do they go to? What conferences do they go to? The third thing then is do you know how to get their attention? I'm going to be honest with you. If I post anything like really nice and personal on my social media account, unless it's a photo of my dog, it never does anything. The traction is rubbish. I may as well have not put it out there. But if I post straight to the point, blunt advice, calling people out on their nonsense, my engagement goes through the roof. The way that I get my audience's attention is by being a moron on the internet, but in a positive way. That's how it happens. That's how I do it. And if I do anything other than that, I never get the traction that I want. And so what I then need to move on to is understanding my audience well enough to be able to then start sharing stuff that triggers them. And the biggest question that I have for you, and this is actually one of the biggest stumbling blocks for most people, is do you know the people that you need to target who are extremely hungry and want and need what it is that you have to offer? When I hear most people's offers, it's a bit like, yeah, you just sound like everyone else. I'm like, well, when I've got 10 of you to choose from, there's two things that's going to happen. I'm either going to choose the one that's been referred to me, or I'm going to choose the cheapest. Typically, that's how decision making is made. I've got no real desire to want to work with you because the way that you're framing what it is that you're saying, I'm not hungry for it. So what you've got to do in the way that you communicate is really create that desire, really create the need, create the urgency to get people to fight to work with you. That's the position you've got to get to with it. Because if you just end up being another online connection, you just end up being ignored. There will be people, I'm sure. Let me know if this is true for you, by the way. There are people that you are connected to on social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, that no matter how hard you try to see their content, never shows up in the newsfeed, does it? You have to go to their profile to see it. Whereas actually, there's other people that show up in your newsfeed every day. Anyone else relate to that? There's people that you want to see, you never see their content. It's the way these algorithms are built. And so that's what's happening to a lot of you right now when you're connecting with these ideal clients. It's not your fault. It's just the algorithms are not showing your content to them. And therefore, your engagement is not going to grow. You need to understand how to play this algorithm in its own game, to start triggering people in the right way, to start actually getting their attention properly. Something that's crucially important, but not many people talk about it. My profile now, I'm not grown by 10, 50, 100,000 followers on LinkedIn. I've grown by 6,000 in just over a year. But those 6,000 followers are the ones that turn up to my workshops, that want to learn from me, that support me because I've targeted them that way. And because then I've got the process in place, which I'm going to share with you very shortly, our revenue line you can see here from 2021 to 2023. Can you see how, because of the change in the targeting, give me a yes if you can see it and it's obvious. Can you see the spike of when the revenue started to go up? The revenue started to go up when I started to target properly, not just connecting with everyone and anyone, being very, very specific, laser focused, making sure that they're online, making sure that I'm only posting content that triggers them, making sure that I'm only showcasing and driving them down one process that leads to conversion. That is the difference that we teach and what I'm going to share with you today. This is the stuff that so many miss. And for me, it's common sense. But actually putting this into practice is different. And that's what I want to share with you as we go through. And it starts with this key question. Why should your ideal client avatar, ICA, ideal client avatar, forgive the abbreviation, it was just to keep it short. Why should your ideal client avatar follow you? What is it that you do that's going to enable you to stand out online? What makes you different? And it can't just be, I care about my clients, because everybody says it. Everyone's like, I care about the people that I work with. No, no, no. What difference can you make? The difference that I can make, the difference our business can make is the fact that within 6 weeks, people are making money. That's the difference. Other social media people can't do it. They say it's going to take you a year, 2 years. No, no, 6 weeks and you're making money. The process, follow it, get it right, you make money. We're blunt. We're not going to give you advice just to make you happy. We're going to tell you what works, the difference it makes, the changes you need to make. We're not going to ask you questions, helping you come up with the answers. We're going to give you the answers. That's the difference. What is your difference? What difference can you make? So many for me just sound the same. Now, I'm not picking on this industry because I don't like it. I'm picking on it because I attract a lot of these people to me. Lots of you on here, right? 20 years experience I can see as people are coming through, right? Loads of people are saying the same thing. Leadership consultants, HR consultants. They all call themselves the same thing. I'm a leadership coach. I'm a HR consultant. Like everyone sounds the same. And you just end up blending in with everyone else. You've got to frame what you do in slightly different ways to be able to stand out. You need to be talking about stuff that other people relate to be able to stand out. You've got to get people to remember you. You've got to identify some gaps in your industry. What are people not talking about that they should? What do you believe in is going to get people talking? These are all answers that you need to figure out and what we help people figure out. Because sometimes when you've been trapped in something for so long, the blinkers come on. If you don't know it, speak to someone, speak to your clients, speak to the people that you've worked with, get them to tell you what makes you different because they will have the answers. This is actually my girlfriend Zoe. Can anyone see the follower number and how many followers she has on her profile? Just give me a yes if you can see the number of how many followers that she's got on her profile. You can, right? 880. 880 followers. You would probably think that 880 followers, God, I haven't got an audience. LinkedIn's too small for me. I'm not going to be able to reach anyone. Well, when you understand how to play this game properly, like the results are mind blowing. For those of you that don't know, me and my partner Zoe, we raise support dogs. We're puppy socializers. So we raise puppies and then they go on to training and go on to support children with autism, etc., etc. Now, Zoe had her first support dog about a year and a half ago, and her name was Peggy. And we posted about Peggy on LinkedIn, as you can see there. This was a couple of days before she left us. That's 880 followers she got. She reached 133,000 people. Now, I'm going to make the assumption that the majority of people on here probably reach around 1,000 to 3,000 people. If that's you, just raise your hand, 1,000 to 3,000 people per post that you do. Zoe with 880 followers is able to reach 100,000. That's the power of this platform. And what happens is, as you start to apply this stuff, bearing in mind that Peggy is a support dog that we shared our journey with, and that got lots of attention. It's got nothing to do with our business. However, what happens is when you find something that relates, these are the sorts of messages that you get. This was around the following day. Hi, Zoe, just watched your short video and I'm intrigued to know more. I have considerable experience with dogs and considering investment opportunities. That would never have come if Zoe hadn't shared about something that she was personally connected to. That's what works for her. That's what works for her content. I don't get the same amount of traction as that, but everyone has got their thing that they can talk about. I think that the message, I've only ever just seen that message. Can everyone see the second one with a laughing face? That was the second opportunity that came her way off the back of that post. This one, Stuart, was a photo, but then drove people to her profile, and the profile had the video on. So again, it's a bit of a content journey here. It's part of a content plan to drive people through. But this is about understanding what can you share that other people and your ideal clients are going to be engaged by. Once you know your audience, you can then craft your offer. So then it speaks directly to them. What I've noticed is that most businesses are in real need for customers. If I asked a question to you all now here today, how do you currently get your business? I would normally I get the majority of mine through word of mouth referrals and recommendations. That typically is the most common answer because, again, that's because people who know you already, know how good you are, recommend you. And when you recommend it, it's easy to do deals. When it comes to selling to cold traffic, though, or audiences that don't know you, it becomes harder, which is why social you find tough. The problem with the word of mouth referral route is unless you have a proper affiliate program that you're looking to grow, something that we teach, it's just complete and utter feast and famine. And you may relate to this where you get really busy, then you get really quiet, really busy, really quiet. It's not sustainable and it's really stressful. It's how I started off in business. The reason being why people struggle is yes, because of their identity, yes, because of their audience not being big enough, but it's also because the way that you craft and frame what it is that you sell, it doesn't actually make people feel like it's the right next logical step. And therefore they don't buy it. They don't say no to you. They'll just ghost you. You won't get a decision. You'll send a proposal over and you'll just get ignored. Happens all the time. And so what happens is when you're promoting, you get this feeling that social media doesn't work because again, when you're putting out your offers, people aren't biting because they just don't get it. I can't say there's sometimes where people tell me like what it is that they do. I ask them what it is that they sell. And they come back with like, I help people do this and achieve X and do Y. And again, I'm letting it, but yeah, but what do you sell? What is it? And they can't quite really clearly tell me. What we sell is a social selling suite. If you want to learn how to make money using social media in 6 weeks, buy the program. That's it. Short, sharp, simple, concise. People have a clear understanding of it. And therefore, whenever I'm doing my marketing, it's about highlighting this message. And so, what I need you to do watching this now is to think about how can you frame what you do in a way where your ideal client avatar is hungry for what you've got to offer. This is my key example here. I used to sell an Instagram 2-day masterclass and I used to slog away trying to sell tickets for 500 quid. It was one of the hardest sells of all time. Now, I thought actually it was pretty good. 2 days, Instagram, like everyone wants to learn it. But actually, what I realized was that it was becoming too tough and people didn't really want it. And you can see the year there, right? In 2020, something happened in 2020, didn't it? It stopped me being able to sell in person. I switched it online. So I changed the Instagram 2-day masterclass to a how to gain 1,000 followers in 30 days challenge. Now, I'm just curious, can you suddenly see how changing that from a 2-day Instagram masterclass to a how to gain 1,000 followers in 30 days challenge, can you see how I've increased the desire to get people to want and understand why they need to buy it just by changing the title? The content was exactly the same. But with that subtle change, just reframing what it is so it's outcome focused, so when we get everyone to do, we had our best month ever the following month. I'd never done that about money in a month before. That is the difference. We changed no marketing. Everything was the exact same. The only thing that we changed was the name of the product and how we were delivering it. That's the difference. That's the difference a subtle change like that can make. Sometimes you're just speaking the wrong language and you need to pinpoint what that's going to be. And at the end of this session, what I'm going to give you the chance to is to speak with me. And what we will talk through on that 30-minute session is your own message, the changes that you need to make to start building the right audience. We're going to review your social selling process if you've got one and identify what changes you need to make. I'm going to look at your offer. I'm going to ask you to talk me through what it is that you sell. Again, just very, very easy conversation. I've got 15 slots available. You'll see I'm going to put up a QR code here. Now, that QR code is going to be in the top right-hand corner of every single slide as we move through. But that QR code will give you the ability to book a call into my diary over the next couple of days where we'll talk through those things. Now, again, please make sure that you answer the questions, like speed, go through them, yes, but again, with it, like give me enough information so I can help you as you go through. So that QR code is there for you to be able to book if you like. And you can see there that QR code in the top right-hand corner for you to be able to go through. So some top tips for clarity. I'm not going to read them. They're there for you. But the biggest question there is biggest point, should I say, is point number 4. You've got to be open to change. For me, most people don't change what they do frequently enough and don't test it. Like we've got to have a testing mindset. And therefore, we keep ourselves from moving relevant. So that's no problem. What I will do, if you drop me a message on LinkedIn, I will send you the link after this as well. So you've got it. But it's pipeline44.com/apply if you want it. So we then move on to connection. Just give me a thumbs up. Was clarity all good? Did it make sense? Was it helpful? Just give me a thumbs up if it made sense before I move on. Good stuff. I think it did. Yeah, good. Brilliant. Right, let's move on to connection. First question you got to figure out after you get identity, your audience, and your offer right. What platforms are you going to use? Thank you very much, Tom. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. What platforms are you going to use? Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, podcasting. The list goes on and on. Add OnlyFans to it if you really want to, right? For me, it's not about using them all. I think that's a bit overwhelming. It's about mastering one or two. Now, what I want to know, if you could for me, what platform do you love the most? Just hammer the chat. What platform do you love the most? For me, this is LinkedIn or it's YouTube. LinkedIn or YouTube are the ones that I really like to focus in on. They're the ones. LinkedIn gives me the ability to search for people, to connect, to build an audience. YouTube gives me the ability for people to watch my videos, learn more about me without me having to do too much about it. Really love it. Facebook's great. Instagram, I've got 30,000 followers on. That was where I built my platform originally. But for me, it's about picking one or two and absolutely nailing those platforms to begin with, getting them automated to a point so you can then use others. That's what you need to do. Now, there are then 3 things that you need to look at to be able to build up your activity, to build your audiences, to nurture them. Right? This is where we get into the proactive stuff here, right? Prospecting, engaging, and posting. Now, prospecting is the bit that everybody needs to do week in, week out, without fail. It's free traffic. When I say prospecting, I mean connect with everybody that you possibly can that looks like your target market. That targeting bit at the beginning, like get really, really lasered on it. Make sure they're active on the platform and make sure they look like your ideal client or they may know your ideal client. Go and max out your connection requests. You can send 100 to 200 of them a week on LinkedIn. Go and push the buttons. It is free. Even me, you saw previously, I've gone from 9 to 19,000 followers in a year and a bit just from doing the basics well. So just start connecting. Don't send messages to begin with. Connect with them first, then follow up with the message. We've all experienced, and I'm guessing it on LinkedIn, right, or on Instagram, we've all experienced a crap message, right? Someone that spammed you and it's just not gone very well. You look at it and you go, why on earth are you selling this? Like sending this to me, stop selling to me. Like we get normally 5 to 10 of them a day. But when it comes to messaging, most people overcomplicate it. For us, like when we're creating message structures and we get you to use the message scripts that we've created inside of our suite, inside of our academy, well, you've got to drive value or start structured conversations like you would in real life. So on the right-hand side here, you can see my value-added message. I'll get straight to the point. Here is a complete guide to social selling. Here's the content ideas, and here's a YouTube video, right? Some people love that. Some people don't love it, but that's my message that I send out. We then have one of the girls that used to work in our sales team that used to do video messages, by the way. So you can see Leanne here. Gal ended up being one of our customers, sent a video, then followed up the day later. Hi, Gal. Don't suppose you've had a chance to look at my video to you yet, have you? Hi, Leanne. Thanks. I did look and read through your profile. I'm just starting to build our outbound motion, having our first BDR joining, blah, 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 blah. Conversation goes on. As we go through, we'll be hiring a few more BDRs during 2021. We'll be happy to hear when you believe you could help given the above. Hi, Gal. It's out. Do you remember? This is just conversation, right? Can anyone say this isn't really slimy and salesy? It's just a conversation. It's following the script. Sounds like there's a lot sitting on you. Honestly, I couldn't in good faith recommend whether I can definitely help without asking more questions. However, based on what you've said so far, there's no red flag. Move through. Don't suppose it would be worth getting 15 minutes perhaps over Zoom? Hi, Leanne. Sure. How about tomorrow? Can't do that. Do this. I'm blocked Monday. Perfect. What's your email address? Can you suddenly see how easy it is to book a call in when you just have a structured conversation? Just give me a yes if you can see it, right? Make sure I'm not going mad. This isn't that difficult to do. You just need the structure. Did it with someone else as well. Hi, Thierry. This is even better, by the way, this one. Hi, Thierry. I was impressed with your background with EY. I look forward to adding value to you in your role by connecting here on LinkedIn. When you've got a great product, service, and message, by the way, people want to talk to you. You don't get pushed away. People want to engage in conversation. Sometimes, though, you may step on a few toes. Pleased to have you in my network. May I ask a question? Sure, as long as you are not number 15 today trying to sell me something. Loved that answer from Thierry. Is that like absolutely like A plus answer? And Leanne goes back with, wow, it's only 10:19 a.m. there. Sounds like you get pitched a lot. Yeah, a little bit tiring. I'm more into learning more about business and strategies. I'm curious, with your investments in salespeople, what are you doing to ensure that you're growing a lead velocity at the top of the funnel to drive predictable growth past this year? Everyone see Thierry's response? Thierry sometimes joins these, by the way. One of he's here. And here we go. Thanks, Leanne. Can anyone see how at that point Leanne could have just stopped the conversation? Just give me a thumbs up if you can see how that could be a point to stop the conversation. Not for us, because actually an answer is an answer. Sorry, Terry, that came across wrong. I didn't mean to offend you. I always go by everyone you meet has something to teach you. I'm learning about the financial industry at the moment, how business can grow. I always go by everyone you meet has something to teach you. I'm learning about the financial. How could I reword my question next time? I'd love your feedback. Maybe I'm missing a trick here. Don't know. Let's do a call next week together. We'd love to get some feedback. Can you see how that suddenly changed? Right? That day's how any times a day that suit you, my assistant will pick it up. Call booking booked from just not letting the conversation go. This is the impact when you message properly. You can be getting 1, 2, 5, 7 calls a week when you start to treat this platform like you are a human talking to another human. Once you've got the prospecting done, you can then move to engaging. So lots of you would have been to an in-person networking event before, right? Engaging on the news feed is basically commenting. So it's a simple form of online networking. This is so easy to do, but doing so will give you the opportunity to get to know people you wouldn't normally get access to. You just need to do it for 10 minutes a day. Now, with my commenting, I have a list of people that look like they could be great customers for us. Now, these could be big companies and corporates or small companies. Now, when it comes to a big company, if you try and drop an email or a LinkedIn message to a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, you are never, ever, ever going to get their attention. However, if you're the first person to comment on their post 10 times in a row, I guarantee no matter how big they get, the first thing they're looking at is some engagement whenever they put their content live. I guarantee it's happened to me in the past. If you are doing this every single day and you're showing up on their content every single day, they will realize who you are. They will check your profile out and something will potentially happen if they ever need it. Commenting is the easiest way to get someone's attention because everybody wants comments on their content. Everyone. So just be the first person that shows up. Ring the bell on everyone's profile that you want to work with and just be the first person to engage. Take 10 minutes a day. It's a compulsory part to this process, right? That people don't do. Nick does this brilliantly. Can you see here where he's messaged? I think this is a comment on Bryony Thomas. I believe actually Bryony's CEO or MD registered for this. She might be on this today, but Nick does this. He comments proactively, grows his account to it, and he also gets remembered for it. Engaging is so simple, but it's a way of getting attention. We then can move to posting. So this is the part that so many people overthink. They default to either not sharing anything or sharing information in a way to sell what they do. There's an easy rule when it comes to content creation. Just show people what it is that you do and what you believe in and who you are. Share the results, the challenges, and try to have some fun with it. I am Mr. Serious, right? I really struggle to have fun with my content creation. However, I'm trying to get better at it because even I'm not perfect. Remember, we all have to start from somewhere. And I know it's really easy. You could be sitting there right now thinking it's all right for you, Chris. You speak really well. You find it easy to do video, find it easy to create content. Like, does anyone out here feel like have a bit of fear about content creation, about videos specifically? Does anyone have any fear about it, feeling like they might make themselves look a bit silly? It's totally okay if you do, by the way. Would it help to see my first ever video? I can't believe I'm about to share this, to be honest. It would. Okay, so this video was 4 years ago, 4 and a bit, 4 and a bit years ago. I'm hoping the sound comes through okay. I'm going to press play and just put, can someone just type in the word sound if it works, right? Just make sure it is working for you.
Evening, everybody.
Everyone hear
My
it?
name is Chris Taylor, and it's my first video um, on Facebook. You've probably noticed me on Instagram in terms of all the flipping photos I've been spamming you with since being on holiday in Nice. And I just think that it's about time now. I'm feeling a bit more confident in what I'm doing, that I start speaking on here a little bit more, just to people to get a bit of a flavour of who we are, me and myself and Steve, and what we're doing. Now it's a bit unrehearsed, but just to give a bit of a flavour of how our days are going, the positives, the negatives, and trying to get a bit of a flavour on what we are doing as a business day by day. Now we're both part-time in property at the moment.
I'm not watching anymore. I'm done. It's the most cringe-worthy thing I've ever seen in my life. So like with this, that was the most uncomfortable I have like ever felt doing something. But can I like to think, is there a bit of a difference now? Do I communicate a bit better now than I did then? Like I kind of hope so. Like this is what I'm trying to get at. This is trained. Like this is practice. This is like 1,000 videos later. And we all start somewhere. And like when I see people that are like afraid to post stuff, I'm like, you have no idea how bad I was. And sometimes you just need that someone that helps you realize that you're going to get better. Like this stuff is just day by day, get better, improve. And from there, you will get to the point where generating business isn't that hard. Like I come on here and I'm like, now I don't mind doing this. I love doing it. I love sharing with you. The engagement levels are amazing. Like with it, we can grow together. And that's what I really want to do. This was the sort of content I was putting out. Like the video, you can see the photos on the top, bro. Like day one was around evaluation. This is the amount of money we were doing. And this is what we're going for. From here, again, you can see professional photography, making your list eye-catching, marketing, showcasing my knowledge, demonstrating how good I was at what I was doing, because I really believed I was good at the time. £600 per month profit from a property you don't even own. I was sharing this day in and day out, just showing up, getting my face out there. The power of these platforms is that literally the opportunity is insane. Leanne, I think, had 10,000 followers when she put this post out. She reached 1.7 million people. Like I'm sitting here and like people say they don't have a big enough audience. I'm like, no, you just don't know how to get access to the audience. Like it is insane the power of this, right? So Leanne peaked 1.7 million. This post here from Philippa, I'm not too sure if she's online today, but Philippa, I use this example because it blows my mind every time that I see it. 456,000 impressions. Can't thank you enough. Forget that bit. As a direct result, my followers have increased from 7,000 to 7,600 in 5 days. 32 messages of people wanting to work with me, candidates and clients. Philippa is a recruitment consultant. Being invited to be a guest on a podcast. 50 messages thanking me for being a voice. 5 bespoke packet proposals going out this week. Like literally, it's one post, one piece of content to get right. And if you do it, this is a better result than I've ever got. Like it is insane what happens. And content creation should be easy, right? We've tried to make it as easy as possible. These are all the different themes that we teach inside of our social selling suite and academy. And what I will do for you, we give this away anyway, but if you put the number 100 inside of the chat, we'll send you a content ideas guide with 100 different ideas in it for free. Just pop 100 in there and we'll send that through to you if you want it. And the team will make their way through for you as well as we go through it. So with that, it's about understanding how to make content creation easy. And these are just some of the ideas. When you get all of this right, it doesn't matter what business you're in, whether you're in a product-based business, service-based business, consulting-based business, it honestly doesn't matter. Like you just need to start putting this into practice like Matt Fletcher did. This is Matt's sort of content that he posts. He's in manufacturing and repair services, as you can see. You would think, how on earth is that getting any traction on LinkedIn? 127,000 viewers because he's targeted. He's building an audience of people that are interested in what he's got to say, and they're also online. Like they're active, they're on the platform rather than connecting with people that never use it. 8,000 profile views Matt was getting. And you can see here, like what he sent to Sam, my business partner, Sam Raffling. Some of you might know Sam. Taken on 80 new customers this month. All have come through LinkedIn. I was ready to spies to see my profile views. Since the pandemic hit, blah, 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 129,000 views. It's one email. We then get another email through it from him a little bit later on. Wanted to share some news, give you a bit of an update. I've had a £1 million plus deal done recently. Guess where this customer found me? Yep, their words. We've seen you on LinkedIn. Like, this is where the power of this stuff is. It's just about applying the stuff that works. And so with connection, there's some tips for you there to be able to take a photo of. But the biggest one is point number 4 again. Don't guess your way to success. When you get it right, you let the numbers dictate what changes to make. I don't make changes to these presentations or any of my marketing unless the numbers tell me to change it. If I don't get a 50% show up rate to this webinar, I need to change the reminder emails. I need to change my promotion emails. I don't need to change anything else. May need to change the date and time, maybe, but that's it. The variables stay the same. What you need to understand is what parts of your process are failing you right now. And then there's where you make the immediate changes to capture all of the low-hanging fruit that's currently sitting there. That's why it's 6 weeks to run a webinar or run any form of campaign to make money, because you've all got low-hanging fruit. You just need to convert it. And conversion is the final part. Conversion, right? We all know this. None of us are on social to buy something. Right? We're not on here to make purchases. This isn't Amazon. It's not Google. We're not on here for that. We're on social media for one of two reasons: to sell something or because we're bored. And if you know that, you are already 1 to 2 steps ahead of everyone else, because you can suddenly understand the mindset of your audience. When we are bored, we are looking for something to emotionally connect to, whether it makes us laugh, whether it makes us feel sad, whether it makes us feel happy. That is what we use social media for. The dopamine is reacting directly to the emotions that the content gives us. Most people do not know this. And so what we have to do is post content like I've mentioned to you before, right? All of the different content themes. You then need to run a campaign. We run 3 different campaigns on my account: webinars, which is what you're a part of now, audits, and then free strategy calls. There are 4 others that you can run. Last week's webinar, it's actually 2 weeks ago that we ran this, but 85% of that traffic came from my email list, not from social media. My social media purpose is to move people from social media to the email list. Now, I just want to prove something here. I mean, I'm hoping to prove something. Out of interest, what brought you to this workshop today? If you can make sure that you send this to everyone rather than to the hosts and panelists. Was it via a LinkedIn event? Was it email? Was it Facebook? Was it Instagram? I'm just curious. Just look at the answers as they come in. Can everyone see how many emails there are? LinkedIn, email is the main conversation, right? If you do not have an email list, you are missing out on so much opportunity, because you know what? Social media only gets you so far. And it's one of the things that we teach is how to build that email list up, because then when you have your email list, you can then drive people to the replay. I saw someone put in on here that they watched a previous recording of mine. That's a replay. And when you start to implement these processes and you build up, because we will help you step by step to build these processes, just like Ashley in the top right hand corner, there's some of you might know Ashley, put together the draft for the webinar. We helped him build a webinar. 21 members in my mentoring team now, and I've sold the 6K package to a 35K deal. And the objectives that he set himself were literally insane, right? He's done amazingly well. But with that, that's because of the process. Joe Britton sent me this message through. Some of you might know Joe. Had a lot of inquiries from a newsletter. Again, the newsletter is an email campaign, hammering and getting the list growing. That's my focus, growing at 7% a week. You need to be focusing in on the right stuff, tracking the metrics for the right stuff. When you do that, things happen. This is a message that I received, right? I put out a bit of triggering content. You can see here, loved your post tonight and watched your YouTube clip. YouTube, where all my replays go. So again, tomorrow is the document. Thank you. Speak soon. I was like, thanks. Appreciate that a lot. Looking forward to seeing it. What is it that you do? I'll come back to you early next week, Chris. My twins have a birthday party today, so I'm balls deep. I love the fact that she used the phrase balls deep. Hilarious. Question: does the £250 cost remain? Oh, your excellent YouTube clip. The deal was $250. Yeah, that's still correct. I'd like to book a call in to discuss. Because I've got a process, it doesn't even need me to do this all the time. My replays do it all for me. Literally the evergreen approach. There's so many people. Does anyone subscribe to my YouTube channel, by the way? I'm actually curious to know if anyone does. If you don't know, go and have a look at it. Chris Taylor online, and with it is loads of content, like my webinar replays are on there. But with it, like people go there and they spend hours watching them, and then they want to work with us because they understand what we do in a lot more detail. They hear me speak about it. Our process uses email list as a bridge. Okay, so you can see our process there. Don't worry, I'm going to come back to that in a second, so you don't need to worry about this. But that is our process. In the middle there with the control, that is our email list. That is the thing, is the central core of our business model. You could remove now my social media accounts from it, and the pipeline wouldn't be affected. Over a few years, maybe it would, but we've got it to over 20,000 people now. And as a business, it doesn't matter what these algorithms do, how they change. We're protected as long as we can drive people from messages to our email list. Without that list, though, our pipeline would be absolutely destroyed within 2 months. And so if you're not driving your list forwards, you are leaving so much opportunity on the table. So have a think about your customer journey. That's our journey there, as you can see. I'm going to go slightly over the hour, so I'm hoping that's okay. But this is that journey there that you can see. This is what we all need to build together. This is what we help all of our clients do. We need to get a message that's going to help you stand out, create the differentiation message, create that conversion piece of content. So whether it's an audit, a strategy call, a presentation, whatever, build out the email list and then build that email list every day and create an offering that you can give away for free and then build credibility and support. Can anyone think about what I've given away for free even today that will actually move you from social media to our email list? What did I give away just a few minutes ago? Can anyone remember what I offered you? I offered you something. You had to do something. That's it. Kelly's got it. Bang on. Right? 100 content ideas. The free call as well. Actually, yeah, you beat me to it. That's something that I give away for free. Did everyone see the reaction? Everyone wanted the 100 content ideas, didn't they? Everyone. I was like, yeah, 100, 100, 100, 100. That's the power of having something for free that everyone wants. This is where we then push through, give big credibility, build rapport. And then what I get everyone to do is just remove everything else that's a distraction, focusing on this process. And then what we then do is we review it all with you. So we give you direct feedback on everything that you've done right, everything that you've done wrong. And with Angie McQuillan here, which is one of the examples on the right-hand side, we built this process together and we're still working on it today. We're still trying to improve it. We're still trying to really drive it forward. The first webinar that Angie ran generated 11 grand, not bad, from 17 calls booked. But the most important things was we had a process. And what we can then do is set the date for the next workshop. We could then look at the data and work out what needed to improve. And then from there, you can see the feedback on the right-hand side that we do. We set new targets, reviewed it, analyzed it, and then went again. Gave us some more feedback there on the right-hand side. So again, this is us. We look at your stuff, we review it, and it's very, very specific. There's certain things that make the biggest difference here. Any word that you use means something. So we have to make sure that everything that you say follows our process. And then with that, again, you can see here, 3 more signups, 14 more scheduled calls to complete, 18 scheduled calls in place. The process drives the conversations drive the revenue. And this is just another perfect example, right? This was a message that I sent out on February the 2nd. This was last year. Can you see here? I sent that value added message with the YouTube video. It got completely ignored. February the 2nd, February the 6th, completely ignored. I then get this message 34 days later. Can you tell me a little bit more about the Social Selling Academy you advertise on your profile? Hi, Caroline, just saw your message on Sales Nav. Of course I can. What's the best number to get you on? I provide initial strategy calls. I also have a free training, the workshop, right, that you can watch. It explains a bit more about it as well. Sounds good. The training video sounds good. That was at 2:22 p.m. 5:35 p.m. Love the webinar, signed up. 3 hours, deal done. That's the power of having a process that does a lot of the legwork for you. Saves so many hours. You don't have to convince. You don't have to persuade. You just need to build your process and let the process do the work for you. That's where so many people get this wrong. And so with conversion, again, with this, it's about getting your process right. People aren't on LinkedIn to buy products. They are on there because they are bored or for their own selfish reasons. As long as you know that and you build your process, you will survive, you will thrive, and you will continue to grow month in, month out. Social selling as a concept is something that loads of people talk about, and they try to make it sound easy. It's not, right? It takes hours to get it right. It takes graft. And it takes a lot of testing and analysis, but it's why we're here. It's why our business is growing so quickly, because we know the detail is the most important thing. And what we have built for you is the most no-brainer offer I could ever talk about. It's called the Social Selling Suite. We offer training, so it's got the roadmaps for you to follow, teaching you all about campaigns, all around social media, all the things that you need to do. We then also have accountability as a part of it. So we will drive you forward through this process with deadlines set for each step along the way. We review everything that we do. We have mentoring sessions that we do on Zoom with you one-to-one. We also have live weekly sessions there as well. So again, Mondays and Thursdays, we do the group and everyone gets together. We then have technology. So in January, we launched the first phase of our technology. So we provide email marketing, landing pages, CRMs, and everything's on one portal for you to be able to go through, which is included in the membership as well. We work with you to build your conversion campaign. So everything that I've spoken to you about today is a campaign. Clarity, connection, control, conversion, close. Take you through it all. And we teach you how to build stuff out from your landing pages to your email marketing to all the social media platforms, all the way through to your sales calls and how you close. We teach you it all end to end. We watch your sales calls, we watch your webinars, we watch your audits, we look at your social media content, and we will tell you what you're doing well and what you're doing wrong. The training videos are there to cover absolutely everything. This is our portal on the left-hand side. We cover everything from product, offer, audience, message, all the way through to how to actually analyze all the stuff that you're doing. You can't go wrong with it. We hold you accountable in a number of different ways, and one is via Zoom calls. And at the end of every step of the roadmap, there is, like I say, a deadline set that we agree. All you've got to do is submit your work and we will review it for you. And if we don't hear from you, we will be chasing you. This is not something that you can sign up to and hide. We will make sure that you're getting this work done because your success is what makes us grow faster. All you're doing is following the process that I do every single day, and so do our team. There's literally no room for excuses. With mentoring, every 12 p.m., every Thursday at 2 p.m., you get the check-in calls as well. We will challenge you. We are relentless with this stuff. And if you're ever struggling, just like this lady was here on the 14th of February, Valentine's Day at 10 to 8 in the morning, she messaged me saying, thank you so much, Via. We jumped on a Zoom call because she was struggling, really, really struggling. Woke up today feeling much more hopeful. I'll get everything to you in a bit. You've got this. You're a fighter. We can get this moving. Can you see the message there? Like, hi, Chris, just closed 7.5 grand. This was 2 days later. That's the difference 24 hours makes with the right support in place. This was only a couple of days ago. We get these messages all the time. There's loads of our customers on this workshop today. We then get that then. Amazing. So I messaged her back. Amazing. Sorry, still on calls for my webinar. You made my Friday. Yes, 100% with the lower ticket. It's a great idea. I've got your docs. We'll have a look over the next couple of days. On the next Friday, just closed down 45 grand. Bang. No way. It's amazing. All based on you giving me a push. This is the power. This is from a lady called Donna. I don't know if Donna's here, but this is the power of having the right people around you that sometimes will put their arm around you and say everything's going to be okay, but also give you a little bit of a slap if you're being absolutely ridiculous around what it is that you're doing right now. The more you engage with us, the more we engage you. This process is proven. You can see by all the different results that we put in place here. The technology then just supports everything, right? We've got the events, we've got the video vault, we've got the CRM, the link tracking, email sender, lead magnets, all done on one portal for you. And that is being phased as a release point over the next couple of weeks. Today's offer is a 12-month social selling suite experience with us. So you get access to us for 12 months. You receive all the feedback that you need on your activity. You get the one-to-one calls and accountability check-ins, the testing phase of the technology launch, the weekly mentoring calls, the workshop email content and campaign template. We have a template for pretty much everything. And we also have access to our Sales Navigator training program that's been created by Sam as well. I'm not going to do a massive reveal of the price point. We are very honest and transparent with our pricing. All of that for the year is £250 plus the VAT per month. We have made this so it's accessible to absolutely everybody that wants to take this seriously. We have given you the tech, we're giving you the training, the accountability, the mentoring, because like I said at the beginning, we're here because we're fed up of people paying tens of thousands of pounds and getting burnt. We're doing this to disrupt the space, and we are disrupting it very heavily right now. And I'm hoping this workshop is a demonstration of that, by the way. But we are doing everything that we can. Now, what we also then do, where other people will charge you even more, we don't. This is included in your membership. You will get access to our in-person mastermind sessions. Now, we do these typically once a quarter. Our next one is on the 22nd of March in Birmingham. We get 25 people to 30 people in a room and we mastermind together. We then go for food and drinks afterwards as well. That is included in your membership. You don't have to pay any more to attend that. It's just a refundable deposit to secure your seat. You then also get a one-to-one session with me at the front end. So we will spend 30 minutes ripping your business to pieces and then putting it back together again. Again, included within it. So again, as you go through here, I'm just conscious of time. 250 quid a month. You get all of the access to that. The QR code there isn't to buy it. You can't just join this program. You have to speak with me. We will talk about whether you are right for it and whether we're right for you. And from there, you then get to join. So we have 15 spaces available. I have no idea how many spaces are left because those calls have been booked in as I've been here. But with it, we are onboarding people next week into the program. So we will speak over the next couple of days, talk through what it is that you need to do. That QR code there will take you through to it. Girish, if you wanted to book for the Birmingham event, just drop us a message, drop us an email, we'll get you booked in. But with all of this, I'm really hoping that even if you don't decide to book the call in, it's still been helpful for you. So can you just give me a thumbs up? Has that been good for you today? Have you learned something new? Be really, really grateful if you could. Amazing. Brilliant. Good. So thank you so much, everyone. See you at 1:30. Looking forward to speak to you. Amazing. Cool. Well, what I'll do is I'll take that off. I'm going to go into the Q&A now. So let me open up the Q&A box. There's some of them have just been chat messages. There might not be any questions actually, but let's have a look. Perfect. I love to personalize a connection request, but LinkedIn is limiting the number of personalized messages per month. Do you have any tips for getting around this or other suggestions? So I don't send a connection message, Susan. I found that actually that lowered the acceptance rate if I was personalizing it. No idea why, it just did. And so I don't send a connection message, and that has a much higher acceptance rate for me. How do I know they're active? Xteen. So if you go to their profile and go into their activity section, you can see if they've commented or posted. I just look to make sure that they've commented or posted in the last week. That's how I do it. Melissa, which one did you ask first? I'm not too sure. If you offer several different elements to a service and therefore have a wide range of ages that you were trying to target, how do you approach that? I find it very difficult to sell our services if we have so many. Should we focus different social media platforms for different age groups? There's lots of different ways that you can segment. Your business sounds fascinating. I'd love to have a chat with you, Melissa. Purely because, again, with it, there's no one right answer. It's all about testing it. So for me, I'd be looking at things and going, right, let's have a look at LinkedIn. Who are we best to target from an activity point of view, to make sure that they are active on the platform, we can get their attention. We then put some marketing out there. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Facebook typically is an older type platform now. TikTok is younger. So again, it's just building different strategies for different platforms where your low-hanging fruit is. And so with it, there's not a one size fits all answer with this. It actually depends on your audience right now. But if you book a call in, or if you want to drop me a message on LinkedIn, if you're still here, I can give you some pointers of what I would do if I was in your position. I own a small zoo, so would you think content would be easier? Yeah, Tony, but we still struggle. Again, with it, content should be easy if you can use the right platforms for it. So again, I can talk to you about content as well, not a problem. Right, video or static picture post for LinkedIn, a video max length. Stuart, great question. So video doesn't tend to do amazingly well on LinkedIn. I have it sit on my featured section, and I make sure that it's 2 minutes or less. But static picture posts typically work well. However, video does play its part, so it's about having a blend. If you answer that question, I have my yearly vacation coming in March. Should I join now? Wait after the vacation to join? Depends if you're going to have any time to think about this stuff, Eslam. So what I would say is that if you've got any vacations are a great time to think about and start looking at these sorts of things. Because you've got the headspace to it because you're coming away. What we normally do is we'll have that conversation and agree a start date that is relevant for you. Not a problem. Alice, what is your view on best time and data post? There seems to be lots of views on this. Also, how much influence do you think the algorithm has to your engagement success, or is it all about the content? It's all about the content, 100%. And so if you post the most triggering thing, like if you mention the words like mental health, or you mention alcohol right now, it goes absolutely mad. Like they're huge topics that will always do well. Best time and day to post for me, I'd always do the mornings purely because when my audience, the majority of them are online, that's the answer to the question is when are your audience online the most? Mornings work for me. And it also is if I get it done in the morning, There's nothing that can stop me from posting my content because it's done. Whereas if I leave it to the afternoon, I always find an excuse to put it off to the next day. So yeah, I always do like first thing in the morning, 8 a.m., get it done, and then I just spend like the next hour engaging with it. No problem at all. Right, answer lie. Let me just quickly have a look. If I only work with women, should I connect with women and ignore the men? So that's actually again, it's an it depends answer. Sometimes it depends on the content that you share. For me, the answer would be kind of yes. So like if I would only engage in my target market, but actually if you're connecting with men, they will have women in their in their audiences that would see their content if they would engage. So it would depend on your current audience size, which I'd have to have a look at. But my gut is telling me yes, I'd only connect with women. And how can you engage on your own post? And just by responding to the comments that come onto your content, Muriel. That's the way. Is there a way to do the activity in bulk Sales Navigator? So Sales Navigator allows you to have they posted in the last 30 days to tick that box. So that helps you do it. But otherwise, no, it's manual. So I do manual because I don't use Sales Nav XD. No problem at all, Guy. Good to see you. I've been unfollowing people I historically connected with are not in my market with the algo. No, it won't be Heather at all. Again, it's not something that I've ever done. To be fair, it doesn't really bother me too much because those people, if they know me, do typically engage, even if they're not directly associated to my business. And then that engagement helps push my content further. But on following them, no, it won't be penalizing you for it at all. No, it won't be. Right then, folks, I am 15 minutes over and I'm hoping that was helpful. What I am going to do, I'm going to take my photo because I'm not taking one yet. That's that done. Good. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put a piece of content live. I'd love for you to come over to my profile and just let me know how you found the workshop if you would be ever so kind to. Obviously, don't feel obliged to. It's not a problem. That will be live probably at around 2 p.m. I've got a few calls booked in, I think, at 1:30 already, so I better not miss them. Thank you so much for your attendance today, for your engagement. You've actually all been awesome. I've loved this today. Please, please, please put this into action. If you've not booked a call in, at least take some action off today. Go put a piece of content out. Start sharing your journey. Even if you want to just share that you've been to this, at least it's something. Get out there, start doing it. Take advantage of the opportunity that's out there, and I will see you all very, very soon. Thank you very much, and goodbye.